In today's video, just stop oil or don't just stop oil. Will you try stopping them? They seem to be able to get to places that they shouldn't be, and then at other times gluing themselves to bits of tarmac in town centres and on bridges in places like London. This all seems to be causing a huge amount of anger, stress and concern by members of the public and the drivers trying to get to work, hospital and just going about their daily business. However just their concern may be, it would seem that perhaps they're losing the support of the general public. Many people still believe that protests should happen, but the way they're doing it, with so much disruption, is going about it in the wrong way. So what's the reality behind Just Stop Oil? What's going on? What do they want? Well, this one's actually really easy. What they would like is the government to implement a process where there would be no more licenses issued for any gas or oil exploration in the North Sea. And these people are really well organised, more so than most people realise. It isn't just a bunch of people turning up on a road in a town, or people climbing up on gantries across motorways here and there, willy-nilly. They're actually very well put together. Just Stop Oil has funding from the Climate Emergency Fund. Now you may never have heard of them and who they are. Climate Emergency Fund are pretty much a worldwide organisation. Both organisations are linked to groups such as Extinction Rebellion, Scientist Rebellion and the Let's Generation, or Last Generation. All these organisations seem to have great legal teams behind them. They know how to handle the public, they know how to handle the police, and they know the likely outcome should they be arrested. This is a worldwide organised rebellion, not just a few protests here and there in the UK. They will give you a grant to do your protesting, they will help you organise your travel and your accommodation in the area where you're actually going to do the protest. So where did the Climate Emergency Fund get their money from? Well, all these organisations, Climate Emergency Fund, Just Stop Oil, Extinction Rebellion, etc., obviously get public donations from concerned members of the public. Fair enough. But the Climate Emergency Fund is propped up by Aileen Getty. Ever heard of John Paul Getty? Started Getty Oil back in 1942, son of George Getty, an oil pioneer. Well, that's where they're getting their money from. Aileen Getty. Some people might use the word irony at this point. The Gettys, well, since before the 1940s, have been ravaging the planet for oil, turning themselves into billionaires. Here in the UK, Just Stop Oil and the associated organisations would like the government to implement the Climate and Ecological Emergency Bill. This received its first reading in Parliament in September 2020. But what is this bill? It will require the Secretary of State to achieve climate and nature targets for the UK, to give the Secretary of State a duty to implement a strategy to achieve those targets, to establish a Climate and Nature Assembly to advise the Secretary of State in creating that strategy, and to give duties to the Committee of Climate Change and the Joint Nature Conservation Committee regarding the strategy and targets. As of October 2022, it's at the committee stage. This is the third part of a 5-stage process where it can be debated and altered. Back in February 2022, a YouGov poll showed that 58% of UK adults actually supported what Just Stop Oil were doing. Here we are in November 2022, and a new YouGov poll shows that 64% of UK adults now believe the way that the Just Stop Oil organisation is going about things is not acceptable. In November 2022, during one of the protests, there was an accident between two lorries and a police officer was injured on the M25. Both of these incidents were put down to the Just Stop Oil protest, whereby they were climbing gantries over the M25 and stopping the traffic. There have also been reported incidents of people not getting to hospital appointments. BJ Harrington, Chief Constable of the Essex Police Force, said, "It's only a matter of time before someone is killed during a Just Stop Oil protest." The UK is aiming to reach something called net zero by 2050. This is the production of electricity with zero carbon generation. Currently we get our electricity from a mix of sources, renewables being one of them, which is where Just Stop Oil would like all our electricity to be produced. Wind power, solar power, hydropower and something called bioenergy. Well, that sounds great. What's bioenergy? Bioenergy has given us up to 12% of our electricity needs in the past, but what it actually is the burning of renewable organic material. Or trees to you. I'm not really too sure how ethical that one is. Shipping wood from the other side of the planet to burn in power stations here just to produce our electricity. Just Stop Oil now state that they will continue to protest whether people like it or not, which seems a bit more of a threat. Should Just Stop Oil be doing things differently, or are they doing the right thing? It appears that the YouGov poll now shows that they're gradually losing support for what they're actually doing. Is holding up everyone else's life acceptable just because they believe in a certain thing and they want it to be true, they want it to be fact? Thanks for watching, hope you found that informative, I certainly did. Please like and do comment below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and check out the rest of the content, and I will see you on the next video.